Famous for him, bet-wise, I'm famous for Jesus. Yeah, singing for him. Hey, whoa, whoa, hey, today not today, today not today. He's coming on his way, he's coming on his way to visit you. His name is Jesus Christ. Hey, 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 today not today, not today. He's coming on his way, he's coming on his way to visit you, to take you high. Give praise to the Lord, praise to the Lord. Make a joyful noise, make a joyful noise. Dance to the Lord, dance to the Lord. Stamp your feet, feet. Hey, yes, I was made for this. Yeah, thank God you never disguise. Yeah, my case you say now your case. Okay, don't leave me see happy face. I won't let you praise, but I'm not in the haste. The time is right, there's no more case. Yes, many words from Susaya. Today is your blessing as today. Yeah, okay, see the holy of the holies. Yeah, that's where I wanna be, my true God. But since the made it, but now I'm set free. I can't do without His grace to free me. Yes, no more empty in the pocket. As they preach about Him, in the closet. Blessing the flow, no more room for the traitor. For this love, then I know He's my greater. Yes, I've been long in the world, but God found me. Bring me closer to His word. I represent you and they count on you. You never fail me, you never bring me down. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, hey, today not today, today not today. He's coming on his way, he's coming on his way to visit you. His name is Jesus Christ. Hey, 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 today not today, today not today. He's coming on his way, he's coming on his way to visit you, to take you high. Give praise to the Lord, praise to the Lord. Make a joyful noise, make a joyful noise. Dance to the Lord, dance to the Lord. Stamp your feet, feet. Hey, I'm breathing every day because of you. You've been there when I needed you. Yes, I'm on your side, Lord. I'm alive today, was not my mate. You died on the cross just to set me free. The way you made me free, free. Yes, with God you can never go down. To bless you, He will award you a crown. Like in Christ, no more ups and down. And they come to His feet with my tithes and vow. The soul of it when you frown. Attention, please, Christ's love is it down. Yes, money cannot buy His love. They close to everything. I'm in love, only Him when they dry my tears. Cause way back then nobody hear my case. Today is your day, make you no confused. Okay, faith is me dead, no refuse. Yes, some they try me to be my God. You can't be my God even if you try. I dey walk in the spirit, it's not dry. yeah. Always on my thoughts. I don't want you to stop, and I don't want you to leave me. Whoa, whoa. Hey, today not today, today not today. It's coming on His way. It's coming on His way to visit you. His name is Jesus Christ. Hey, 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 hey. Today not today, today not today. It's coming on His way. It's coming on His way to visit you, to take you high. Give praise to the Lord, praise to the Lord. Make a joyful noise, make a joyful noise. Dance to the Lord, dance to the Lord. Stamp your feet, feet. Hey.
This is Starr Radio UK.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, good evening and welcome to another episode, another edition of Niger Voices, coming to you all the way from Starr Radio, your finest Afro-Caribbean radio station. I'm sure some of you have been wondering what is actually going on tonight. Well, as you could understand, sometimes we try to make sure the preparation is ready, especially if we're speaking all the way to Nigeria. Remember, so much took place at the House of Senate. We've got so much to talk about on that particular one. But as you can see, I'm live in the studio. My guest speaker is already waiting on the other side of Nigeria in Anambra State. I should be connecting to him in less than no time. But as usual, we have a proceeding, ekale to all the, the southern part of Nigeria, my family, wherever you reside in Nigeria, all over the world. I say to you, ekale. And also, I'm speaking to a very brother of mine, all the way from Anambra. So as usual, I will say as well, Ututu Oma. I'm sure he could be able to explain to us what that means as well in Igbo. Again, to everybody from the northern part of Nigeria, again, is Baka the Yama. Welcome to another episode of Niger Voices, coming to you all the way from your finest Afro-Caribbean radio station. I want you to all keep the phone line to your side, because the phone line is actually open. Should you want to speak to us at any point of time, 0208 133 2257. We've got so much to talk about as well as usual. But the most important thing is oh my Lord, there's so much that took place at the National Assembly all the way in Abuja today. We put that to one side. The update as well, I'll be bringing you the update later on as well. But the most important thing is I need to connect straight away to my guest speaker that I've been sitting down there waiting for this call to come through. But like I said, we do apologize that we are coming late, about 27 minutes past 7 o'clock. Today's the 26th of July 2017. Is Niger Voices, coming to you all the way from your finest Afro-Caribbean radio station in London. Make sure you tell someone to tell someone. Continue to share the page. We want to make sure we are reaching as many people as possible. Especially the topic tonight is very, very important. Also, the topic tonight is in coincidence with what actually took place at the National Assembly. There were 33 bills were considered today. If you're not aware of that, you need to stay tuned so that we could be able to give you some of those bills and how those changes will have impact again to the topic that we have tonight, that we'll be speaking to my guest speaker all the way in Anambra in Nigeria State. Thank you for everyone that have logged in all over the world. We've already seen you logging in. We do appreciate you for joining us all the time. We're live in the studio. And in about few minutes or so, I'm going to play his music again. His name, for those that are wondering, who is this particular person that we are bringing to the studio? His name is Ifeyichukwu Petwes. We'll be speaking to him in just about a few minutes time, but continue to share that button, and then we will connect to him in about a few minutes from now.
I'm famous for Jesus, yeah, singing for him. Hey, whoa, whoa, hey, today not today, today not today. It's coming on his way, it's coming on his way. To visit you, his name is Jesus Christ. Hey, 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 today not today, today not today. It's coming on his way, it's coming on his way. To visit you, to take you high. Give praise to the Lord, praise to the Lord. Make a joyful noise, make a joyful noise. Dance to the Lord, dance to the Lord. Stamp your feet, feet. Hey, yes, I was meant for this, yeah. Thank God you never disguise. My kiss, you say no, your kiss. Okay, don't leave me see happy face. I won't not to praise, but I'm not in the haste. The time is right, there's no more case. Yes, many words from Susaya. Today is your blessing, as today, yeah. Okay, to the holy of the holies, yeah. That's where I wanna be, my true God. My sins they were many, but now I'm set free. I can't do without His grace to free me. Yes, no more empty in the pocket. As they preach about Him, in the closet. Blessing the flow, no more room for the traitor. For this love, then I know He's my greater. Yes, I've been long in the world, but my God found it. Bring me closer to His word. I represent you, and they count on you. You never fail me, you never bring me down. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, hey, today not today, today not today. It's coming on His way, it's coming on His way. To visit you, His name is Jesus Christ. Hey, 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 today not today, today not today. It's coming on His way, it's coming on His way. To visit you, to take you high. Give praise to the Lord, praise to the Lord.
Yes, I can hear you now loud and clear. In the studio with me now, all the way from Nigeria. I've got a very important guest that we have to go find. These are young guys that you can't actually. Why is it so difficult to get hold of you? That's the first thing I should be asking you. Hello.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, just say hello to the audience that are listening while I'm going to read a little bit about your bio. Just say good evening, and I want you to say that in English, and I also want you to say that in Igbo.
Okay. Good evening to everyone. They will open there and make it London.
Wow. Okay, and thank you very much, for joining us this particular evening. I've got Ifeyichukwu Petwes. Is a Nigeria multiple award-winning inspiration, public speaker, a change catalyst, leadership coach, financial literacy planner, business expert, self-taught writer, community leader, social entrepreneur, student mentor, and award-winning gospel artist. I'm sure those of you that have been listening, you've been listening to some of his music that I've been playing at the background just about a few minutes ago. Also, he's among the Nigerian experts on coaching the young people on talent management, capacity development, and human resource management. He's the chairman and the CEO of Inner Wealth Source, a private training company that specializes in the training and development of individuals and organizations that provide personal empowerment and ministry education to people through books, seminars, coaching, blogs, audios, videos, and workshops with the mission to build a lasting positive change to create mindset for wealth creation. Mr. Ifeyi is known to be a great mentor, and his goal is to help you to achieve your goals and partake in human history makers that will make you to stand out in the global world. Wow, you've got so many things. I'm going to round up quickly now. A seminar coach, Ifeanyi Chukwu is the founding director of Leadership Mind Ambassador Online Award. A sonship music record. Is currently the director of research and development at the Global African Council of Youth Leaders. Is a member of the African Awakening International, a mentoring academy, aimed at shaping the lives of young black males and females around the world, which advocate on Africanism and youth empowerment in Nigeria. Africa and Euro founder by Tony Tokumbo Itaike Fernandez. He is also first Africa for Euro model with 2 Outstanding Achievement Award. Mr. Petwise is currently media partner of Black History Month celebration, which is coming up in October for those of you residing in the United Kingdom, and one of the main pioneer of Gathering of Mentors, founder by ND Evangel Inamdi Williams. Wow, you've got so much in your plate already. How old are you? Did you get what I said? I said you've got so much already, in your portfolio.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out, and based on our topic tonight, the lost generation. You've done so much already for yourself. I'm very sure you've done so much already. Straight away, thank you very much for joining us. Can you just tell us what the weather is like in Anambra tonight?
Okay. The weather down here is not all that clear. It's like it's about to rain.
It's about to rain.
Good down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for coming on to the studio. And let's just go straight into it. We've had I've read a bit about your background. Let's just go. Who is Ifeanyi Chukwu? Who are you?
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. My name is Ifeanyi Chukwu. I'm from Imo State, Idaho North, from Makoko village. I'm the first son from family of 4. My dad is a trader and he's late. My mom is a government school teacher. I did mechanical engineering in school. I did also music in school also.
So you did mechanical engineering in school. So how did you divert into all these, what I've read out of your bio? Before we go straight into the topic of the lost generation. Because if you have done mechanical engineering, and how come you were able to divert away from that and you become so many things of what you have read out already?
Okay, it was actually one of the reasons I chose this topic. It happened some time ago that my mom wanted me to be an engineer, a course that is outside what I want to become. So I was in school reading the course because of her. So after school, I told her that I want to pursue my career.
Okay. Wow. Thank you very much. Let's just go straight into the topic of tonight, the lost generation. I was speaking to my audience about 5 hours ago, and I said I don't know whether I'm part of that lost generation. Who are the lost generation now?
Lost generation is actually a topic I'm working on currently. I started working on the topic that was a few days ago. So when you asked me, I said, okay, let me just choose the word lost generation.
Okay.
Because of what I'm doing, trying to help people discover who they are, trying to help people live their dream. Because I noticed something that if there's a person someone needs to become before he can become great.
Okay.
And if you leave them like this, they will go into another thing. They will continue raising their children. They will go into marriage and keep raising a generation that is confused. And that is why, if we don't do anything about it, we keep raising a confused generation, people that are lost in mind. And that is why I choose this topic.
Wow, the lost generation. About if we're talking about the lost generation, I'm sure if you've been following the proceeding at the the Senate at the in Abuja this morning up to this afternoon, a lot of changes have come into the some of the bills that was the 1999 Constitution. If we're talking about the lost generation, we've got so many youth out there complaining, there's no work, we don't have anything to do, the government is not providing something for us, they're not providing the conducive environment. What would you
Yeah.
say, in that aspect?
Okay. Thank you very much. I like this question. Now, I've seen some people that succeeded in life without the government. A lot of them. Every day I'm online trying to get one thing or the other. And from the people that I've met online, I discovered that what these people need is just direction. And just like the Bible said, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. So the knowledge there means knowledge of who they are, knowledge of what who they actually are. You can notice that if you can help someone discover who he is, the highest discovery in the world is not telephone discovery, is not aeroplane discovery, but self-discovery. You can be able to produce something first when you've discovered yourself. And now, and I found that if, if if you live a life of complaining, if you live a life of blaming, you're not doing yourself any good. Because no matter who you are, no matter what you have inside you is enough. In fact, what God has deposited in us is enough to give us what we are looking for in the future. So who is government? Government is just a human being. Government is someone there. So when God deposited something in your life, He didn't talk about the government, and the Bible said the government shall be under our shoulder. So we don't need anybody, no excuse, no whatsoever. And mind you, the current situation of Nigeria right now is the best. Because it's a situation that makes people to start thinking.
Why do you say so?
Okay, I discovered something that when people are in pain, that is when they will come close to their dream. For example, if you can pray for something, will you still pray for it? When people are in pain, students are involved. Is that they are negative or they are positive? When people are challenged, that is when they think of something to do. That's when the best in them that's coming out. So that's why I said the current situation of Nigeria right now is the best. But it will make people start thinking.
We are losing your reception a little bit. Maybe you need to kind of move. Make sure we don't want to lose a little bit out of what you're talking to us about.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit better now, but maybe you're moving left and right. To the audience that are listening, we are speaking to Ife Ichuku all the way in Anambra State, and the topic we got in front of us in this particular evening is the lost generation. He's been answering some of my questions, but we still have so much to take off him. You got to understand that, like I keep saying, the infrastructure in Nigeria, especially someone residing in Anambra State, we got to bear with him in terms of the connection. I'll let you continue from where you stop, Ife Ichuku.
Okay, sir. So, like you said before, concerning the government and stuff, now there are some strategies that we need to put in place for this thing to be. That if we're going to be able to let you something, we need to start thinking. We need to go to entrepreneurship. We need to start living our dreams. We need to start, people should go and do what they are passionate to do. People should live their dreams. Because that is why I encourage people to try and get a mentor. A mentor is very important. Your mentor must be someone that is a doer, not just a talker.
Okay, maybe if you want to put the earpiece very close to your mouth, so that way you could get the message could get clearer into your device, because it looks like you're far away.
Okay, is it clear now?
Yes,
Is it
better
okay
now. Make sure the earpiece is very close to your mouth, because I know it's quite a distance. Again, bear with us for those listeners listening, especially if you're listening in the United Kingdom. You're thinking, what is happening here? We're speaking to Ife Ichuku all the way in Anambra State. You got to understand the infrastructure is not as structured as it is in other part of the world, but we're still making sure that we connect to everybody wherever they are. I'll let you continue, Ife Ichuku.
Okay, so it's okay right now.
It is better now, so as long as you're not moving it again.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be interfering when you're talking, you see.
Okay, like I'm saying before that, we need to encourage our young people out there to start living their dreams. And I noticed something that is happening in Nigeria and is bringing our youth backward. When people thought that because I have this degree, because I went to school, I studied this, I studied that. For that, I'm okay to enter into the real life. No, no, education is good, but education is limited. If you want to survive in this what is happening right now in Nigeria, not just Nigeria, Africa, and everywhere, people need to start doing what? Start looking for their passion, start living their dreams. I do hear some entrepreneurs talk about entrepreneurship, and I get into that idea. It will also help also to to remind people of who they are, what they can do. A lot of people don't know that they can do anything, and discover that when you talk about leadership, when you talk about mentorship, and when you talk about someone just in the public speaker, or someone just standing in front of people just to talk to them and walk away. No, mentorship is the highest of it all because mentorship takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience. You need to follow the person up. You need to come into the person's life. What do you want to actually do? What do you want to become? What can I be of help? That is mentorship, and that is what our youth need. And coupled with a program I'm running online, if I could picturize online mentorship program, and also a program I'm running offline, Games with International. God for it has been going that time. We have introduced some praise people managing their own companies, people managing their own firm. We have able to raise some entrepreneurs, and it's working out fine.
Okay. I'm gonna. I still got. We got. Again to the audience, especially. I keep saying that because we don't want you to think what is the wrong with that line. We're speaking all the way to Anambra State. It's not Lagos. You got to bear with us. The infrastructure is not as structured as it's meant to be. Ife Ichuku, I know your career. You said you were a mechanic engineering. That's what you studied at the university, but that is not your passion now. Where is the beginning of this problem? Because it looks like most of our parents, they enforce us to study. Whether being a doctor, a mathematician. Where should be the main focus now? Because it looks like a lot of us have been a lost generation. We've gone through a different route that we should not have gone through, and now we realize that the real world is out there. Where should be the beginning of that training? Is it from the secondary school, to really know your passion? Because a lot of us knew our passion from the secondary school, but because our parents were really forcing us to say you have to be a doctor, you have to be an engineer, like Omobaba Kamoru and all that. Where should be the focus now?
Okay, thank you very much for this question. And let me start from the grassroots because all these things come somewhere. And there's a program I'm working on. I'm still working on the project now. I'm working on the presentation now. It's called a Set Achieve program. It's going to be a program that is going to be running in some secondary schools in Nigeria, Anambra, Lagos. And the purpose of the program is because of we need to direct these people, especially the course they need to study in school, because just the Bible said, charity they said begins from at home. We need to leader for someone to say this child is a leader tomorrow. You need to start getting the leadership skills in that child, because if we failed at the stage one, they will use this and grow up, and they'll still put the same thing in their children. So every parent should allow their kids to live their dream. Just like we said, catch them young. So if you start to read books, when a child is getting to 15, 16, 17, even 14, you start seeing some atoms of what the child wants to become in the future. So it is not the work of the parents to help the child, because this is where exactly where my parents missed it. But why I will not blame them is because of the system. The system has a tradition. The system has a structure. My child, I want to have a lawyer in my family. I want to have a reverend father in my family. So these are the concepts. That it's working back then doesn't mean it will work now. Things are changing every day. And I discovered that when these people don't live their dream, they will live a frustrated and a confused life.
Wow. Thank you very much. I just want you to put a pause there. We're listening to Ife Ichuku all the way from Anambra State. This is someone that I've done so much, for himself. I've read a bit of his biography. I've already posted that on our Facebook page as well. Thank you, everyone that have logged in, from all over the world. I've seen you from wherever you've logged in. Bola Jola Inka, all the way from London here. Also for those that have logged in Nigeria, and also all your friends that have logged in that are listening to us as well, whether in Anambra State. I was listening to an interview you gave in Anambra State. I'm sure when I say this phrase, you remember that interview and where you've done that interview. And I was listening to that on my way to the studio. You told the host that you were speaking to, no time to start, you must start.
Yes, I remember.
So explain to us what that means, that phrase, no time to start, you must start.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, I understood the challenges people are facing when it comes to what they want to go into. Just like my husband said, that ideas are not fully formed. They begin to form the more you work on it. So I remember when I started LMA, when I started all my foundations and running, it wasn't easy. I just started. And that's why people are afraid to take the first step. I told a friend of mine 2 days ago.
But do you think because of the system that we have in Nigeria, that's why people are scared to take that first step?
Yeah, yes. And if you check and if you notice what is going on, because of the system of our education, if you fail, we flog you. So people come after us with that mindset. They don't want to try something new because they don't know how people will see them if they fail. They don't know, those insults and everything. So they decide to stay on one spot. They try to stay on one place because they don't want to try something new. So it's just the system, the tradition, how things started. So, but in my online program, in all my mentorship program, I discovered one particular problem. People are afraid to start. And if you be like, okay, what is stopping you from starting? They don't have any reason. So what I do is that I encourage them to take that first step.
But the
and
question,
if you notice,
yeah, I'll let you land there because I've got something to interject in there. I'll let you finish what you were saying.
Okay. Now, if you check these people, once they step in that first step, and they'll be like, wow, so this is how this thing is. And I've been wasting all my years, in the living place waiting for the perfect time. So they just need to come out from their comfort zone and take that first step. Everything you will need to know, you will know them now. You will know them when you started.
Okay. The other question is which a lot of people, and I'm very sure you've had this as well yourself, whether within your friends, when you're all sitting down in a relaxed environment. We are just a country that too religious. And I believe it is high time now, the mosque, the churches, should now engage the youth to give them, yes, prayer, we solve problems. But if we are too dependent on prayers alone, and I'm sure the acting, president, Yemi Osibajo said that about a few weeks back as well, that we are just waiting for miracles. And you as a gospel singer as well, and people see you, they say, maybe not prayer they do amo, maybe not prayer. How can we change that kind of mindset? Because everyone believes that, when we pray, things will just happen.
Thank you very much. Like you said, this is one of the major problems we are facing here. And most times, that is why I tell people, put the prayer fine. But the major work is out there. And there's a post I posted if you understand the secret, you will pray less. What is the secret? Know how to buy and have something you will buy. God cannot bless you without a work in your hand. So, God has given us what it takes to succeed in life. You are the person who will do the major work, not God. Your own is to do best, and He will do the rest. And God cannot do the rest if there's no best. So that is why most churches that preach about grace and stuff. I don't know. The major problem we're facing in Nigeria and African country also
But
is the problem of what.
how do we convince all these religious institutions to start embedding this kind of mentorship? I mean, what I've been seeing, a lot of them have been bringing in comedian to speak on the podium. I would have thought they would bring in people like you to come and speak on the podium and convince all these you that attend the mosque on a Friday or the church service on a Sunday, or even if they don't have any belief in any faith, because we're talking about a lost generation now, and we want to revive this back. And for those of you that are listening, you're joining us on the Niger Voices. This evening is exactly 7:53 p.m. here in London, and exactly the same time in Nigeria. We are speaking to Imfe Chuku all the way in Anambra State. We are so pleased to have him. He's a very busy guy. And based on what you were just saying, I'm just picking up again from your interview. You traveled all the way from Lagos to Anambra for that interview. You did not say, prayer will do it. Maybe if I pray, that interview will just take place. You could have refused this interview as well, even though, we do understand, we spoke about it at length in terms of the logistics, because, you said to me, Yomi, don't worry, I've got another line and I'll make sure you get through to me. How do we now use this, to portray it back? And again, I want to go back again to the religious institution, because this is where we have so many youths that go out on Sunday and on Friday to pray. How do we start changing this? And 2019 is round the corner again.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Like I said before, as a pattern, I call it a pattern, a tradition. And just like my spirit said, is that it is impossible for an unrighteous nation to face righteous leaders. So the remedy now is to raise a new set of people. And by God's grace, I've been attending churches, and anytime I come, people they'll be like, "Wow, this is what we want to hear." Actually, who knows what they want to hear? And that is why I encourage pastors, some men of God, some evangelists, to do what? To study and study, not just studying Bible. They should read across. Not just studying Bible. They should read leadership books, business books, and all these other books, because there is a time to teach your people leadership. There's a time to teach them business. There's a time to teach them career. So it's just a structure. But there are some churches in Nigeria that are doing great. They just give you what you want to hear. But it's based on, because it's something that is a pattern. So it will take time. But that is why I keep raising people like me. Maybe some places that I can't touch, they can go there and deliver the message. It's going to take time, but it's achievable.
We'll definitely continue to work on that part. Again, as usual, we're live all the way from the finest Afro-Caribbean radio station in London, Starr Radio. If you want to have a conversation, with my guest in Anambra, the studio line is open. You could call in on 0208 133 2257, or you could send a message into the comment box that we're live streaming on Facebook. You're carrying out together music and speaking at the same time. How do you combine, this together? You music and then speaking, whether in the church, in wherever you have been attending. How do you join this together?
Okay. I started singing. That was in the year 2005. I started singing in the club. Then I was a rapper, and back then in school, I won best rapper here. And after 2005 to 2012, I got an encounter. I started switching into gospel. And combined speaking, I never thought of becoming a public speaker. I never thought of that. So something happened. That was 2013. That a friend of mine hosted a seminar in my community, and he said I should be the MC. From there, so white people were coming. he said, why not start speaking so that before we do the opening prayer, that was my first time speaking, and it was awesome. I was able to one of the best speaker that day. So when I come back home, I was like, God, what is happening? I was like, okay, this is actually another talent that I have that I need to develop. From there, I started having passion to speak. That was when I started speaking. Now combining both of them is not really not easy at all. So there's also a book. Every year I will write down my yearly goal for the year. This particular I'll have to host a concert. I'll have to do this for my music. This so time in the month. I'll have to host a seminar. So so there's a timetable guiding the boat. Yeah.
Wow. In 2012, you got an award as well. Then you were also selected out of 500 Africans, for the top 10, gospel singer. That is amazing. Out of 500, you were narrowed down, and you still won an award. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I think that was the happiest day in my life because it was when I met Anthony to come to Africa for you. So he told me that he runs an online award program for Africans in diaspora. So that he wanted to contest.
We're losing you a little bit now. We're losing you. You gotta put the microphone back close to your mouth so we can get you properly.
Okay, so he told me then that he would like me to contest for the award. So and then the seats I have then they are not good. They're just a studio demo. So I was contemplating which one would I send. So I sent two of my sponsors. And later that day in the midnight, something with me that you sent that one that I didn't send before. I just went to him and said, I'm sorry, I want to use this one and contest for the award. So after 2 days, he said congratulations that I'm among the top 5, top 10 in the list. And it was so joyous for me. I was so surprised.
Okay. For those that are listening, again, you got to bear with us. We're speaking all the way to Anambra State in Nigeria, and we've been speaking to Ife Chukwu Petwes. He's been giving us, the topic that I told him to research on a little bit. I want to go back on that topic. How do we revive back? We know there's been a lot of lost generation, but I still have hope, in Nigeria. And the reason why I said so was, there was a young girl all the way in Shagamu that found a wallet, about almost coming up to a few months now. 18,000 naira. The money was returned back to the bank, and that gave me hope that we still have those generation that will make impact in Nigeria. How do you see, the generation of those coming out of the secondary school? You are based in Nigeria. You engage, and I've seen a lot of your work. You are more engaged with the youth. How do you see the future for the youth of Nigeria?
Okay. For now, based on what is happening, because sometimes I will feel like how I can just divide myself so that I'm able to reach out to as many as I can. What I do now is I raise people who, like some guys that I've mentored in different states in Nigeria, and every time they are going to schools, I'll tell them what to. I will give them articles on what they should discuss. Like today, a guy from Uganda, I'll be going to another school in Uganda this Friday. Like I always say, pattern and system. There's no way we can just nurture these people just one day, because something has flown in their mind right from birth. So that is why, by God's grace, I'm putting up a book. My 2 books will be out by end of the year, so I can just mentor them and give them the book. So because, like I said, mentorship it takes time. Imagine something that a child grew up with. So based on what is going on and around me, people leaving secondary school, I'll be honest with you, it's not encouraging. And most times I'll be like, what is the hope of Nigeria? That is why I said we need more of people, more of change catalysts, more of people that are ready to do the work without demanding for money, without anything. Because what I'm seeing now is not encouraging. I must be honest with you.
Okay. The other thing I want to check with you, and this is something I don't know if you're playing something in your background, but if you do, you need to reduce the volume because that way we won't get interference. Because you should be listening to me through your your headphone, or you should not listen to anything again because that will have interference. My question is, do we have the youth that are ready to volunteer with a little bit of incentive? It might not be a full-time job. I mean, if you a lot of my audience will remember, so many of us that reside in United Kingdom, we give our time, whether it's half an hour, 1 hour for one cause or the other, and we probably get paid for maybe for the transportation or for the feeding. Do we have this kind of initiative, or is this something that I'm sure you follow the trend of what is happening outside the country, based on your work, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of work that are done outside the United Kingdom or maybe other part of UK. That most of them are voluntary. Do we have the youth in Nigeria now that are real ready to go into that area, or they're just thinking, what, if I don't get paid, I'm not ready to do anything?
Okay, okay, yes. I love this question, and there are another challenge again we are facing here. Yes, we have some people, but they are few. They are very few, and you will see someone he will start off something after 1 year, next year he will stop it. If you ask him, if you advise, it's money, fees, that.
We can't hear anything you're saying. It's going low again.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So like I was saying that we have them, but they are very few, very, very few. So start up something before you know it. You will start, you ask him, he will say, I need money for this, I need money for that. I can't be running only an NGO. How do you expect me to survive? So they are very few. They are very few.
Okay. Um, Thank you. We still have you on the line. You're not going here. I still got a few more, questions to ask you. But for those that are listening, we're live on Niger Voices again. It's another Wednesday. Remember, I told you last week that I'll be bringing a very big surprise. We got to understand, the technology, in Nigeria is getting there, but in terms of the connection, but we will do everything within our means to make sure that we speak to and that's part of my agenda. I want to make sure I'm speaking to all the 36 states of Nigeria. Whatever topic, whatever anyone. There's another guy I'm working on. We should be bringing him to speak to the audience all the way from the northern part of Nigeria. So if you have anyone that you think we should speak to, send us an email, yomi at nigerdiaspora dot net. But the most important thing is we got Infeyi. Give us leadership mind ambassador. What is that about, and how can people engage with that? And also I want you to direct those, especially in Nigeria, and maybe those living outside the country that might want to assist or help along the line of what you're doing, so that we can reach as many youth as possible. What is the leadership mind ambassador? And those that might want to check you out, how would they be able to find you?
Okay. Leadership mind ambassadors, LMA award. That is what that is the short name of it. LMA award, meaning leadership mind ambassador. Leadership mind ambassador is one of my online programs, because I was
And I
looking for
want
a
you to speak up a
platform.
little bit and move very close to the earpiece. I don't want my audience not listening to what you're saying.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, like I said, leadership mind ambassadors is called LMA Award. Is an online award, and actually I was inspired because I was looking for a platform where I can be able to bring in people that are living their dream and that are doing well in their field, and also people that are aspiring to do something great. And what the major core of leadership mind ambassadors is it's all about getting people's stories, the challenges, how they started, and what they went through to get to the level they are. So once they give me the story, what I will do is that I will share it, I'll distribute it, I'll send it to people that I'm mentoring, and I'll tell them to get to read the write-ups, and also uh, every ending of every year, I will give them award. So enemy award is not an award that we said you and this person should contest for this. No. So the nomination is once I interview you, I have nominated you for the award. So the award is just to encourage them. And I started running enemy award. That was back then in 2012. So I think next year will make it 6 years. So it's about bringing known and unknown people on the set platform, celebrating people that have made it in their career. So that's what the program is all about.
Okay. Most of your work that you do, is it just based on in Anambra? I mean, I know you did mention Uganda, and I've picked up that you did study, part-time music in Lagos as well. Um, the youth that you mentor, what area in terms of the geographic area of Nigeria that you work with?
Okay. Okay. Uh, my mentorship is there's no specific area.
Okay.
I have people in almost all the country, outside country. I have people in Jamaica, South Africa. I have people in UK. I'm mentoring not just in Nigeria, not just in Nigeria.
Okay. Well, for those that have been logged on, to us, we do appreciate you. We've been speaking to Infeyi Chuku Petwise, all the way from Anambra State. He's been telling us, about the lost generation and what can be done, to revive that generation. How we can all encourage, especially the youth. We've got so many youth, and like I said, if you've been following, there was a constitution review that took place at the Senate today, and part of that was the reduction of age. For
Yeah.
I mean, I think, what would you say to that? I mean, Infeyi Chuku, now if you're 35 years old, you are now allowed to to contest for even up to a president. And I'm sure maybe you might be thinking of contesting for a president, maybe 2019. And thank you very much for logging in all the way from Oxbridge, Olawale Olayinka, as usual. We do appreciate you. Continue to share the button. Don't just listen to yourself alone. Click on the share button. Invite some of your friends as well. We're live here every Wednesday, Niger Voices, and we're speaking all the way to Anambra State. What do you say to the bill number 27? And I don't know why they left it to number 27. It should have been bill number 1, reduction of age for election. 86 people said yes. Why will people say no? And 1 absentee. What would you say to that, Infeyi Chuku?
Okay.
Please, I really want you to put them, I know it's quite very difficult, and you already told me that, but I will appreciate if you could just stick close to the, to where we can get a good, out of you, especially you got to remember it's a long distance call as well. Thank you very much.
Okay. What I have to say about that is, like I told you before, the system of Nigeria, not just to regularize but to leadership. For some time now, we keep hearing that this thing is it actually people, man? Is it actually what you think that will make people? I don't know. Are they saying that that age is not accountable, is not responsible? So I don't know why, as in why they made it that way. But what I want to do now is from tomorrow, and I'll meet some people to deliberate on this. We need to find out why they made it so. But for now, I don't have anything to say about it for now.
All right. Thank you
Because
very
I know
much.
they will have reason.
Okay. Any last word to your fans that are listening to you out there? And also, if you've got any message, to the youth in Nigeria before I let you go.
Okay, come again. I didn't hear you
I
very well.
said, any last word, to the audience that are listening to you, tonight, and also to your fans as well that have logged in. And we do appreciate all your fans that have logged in on, from all over the world as well, joining us tonight on Niger Voices. Do you have any message to them?
Okay, okay. I would like to say big thanks to my friend Edu William. He was so supporting us. And I would like to say big thanks to my friend Ghana, Juliet Secretary. He put us online. We know him now, and I appreciate what we are there for. This support comes through. He also made help to my team. I want to say that I'm very grateful and continue to bless them.
Okay. Thank you very much. We've actually taken almost 43 minutes of your time. We do appreciate,
Okay.
yeah, and I know the line was not, the best, but you did give it your shot, and that's what we want to say. We want to make sure that, especially when we want to talk to you in Nigeria, like we said, we will tell the audience, and they will bear with you. They will still be able to understand that the infrastructure is not as it is in other part of the world. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Infe Ichuku, for joining me on Niger Voices tonight. And I'm very sure by the time I'll be in Nigeria, I'll have more opportunity to have another interview with you on a better day as well. And we do appreciate you for taking your time. Last word, and I will say to you, and the last word is also, I want you to say goodbye in Igbo. And also, I want you to say, join us every Wednesday, Niger Voices, between, well, maybe just join us on Niger Voice. I want you to say that in Igbo language.
Okay.
So you got two tasks. One is Udabo in goodbye in Igbo. That one you will say after you've said, join us every Wednesday, Niger Voices in Igbo language.
Okay. I'd like to say a big thanks to everyone and update
Wow. Thank you very much, and hope to speak to you again very soon. And have a good evening. Thank you very much. Well, that was Infe Chuku, all the way from Anambra State, and I'm very sure you've been able to at least learn one or two things from that conversation. The most important thing is, we try to bring to you anyone from any part of the world, especially, we've got too many youth that are unemployed in Nigeria, and we need to make sure we close that gap, not just the federal government doing it alone, but also we must uh, be able to do that, within our own little help as well. Uh, Now I'll run through the update, and also we got one more speaker that will be joining us through the telephone. She resides in the United Kingdom. She'll be coming online in about a few minutes, but I just want to go through, the update and what has taken place again, at the Nigerian Senate, this morning, where about 33 bills, were reviewed, the 1999 Constitution. So the update that came in from Lagos this morning, as usual, for those of you that enjoy all this update, we need to give kudos to Axoba 905, which is Abeokuta Old Student Association, that finished in 1995, which I'm one of them as well. And you all enjoy this update, but this update comes all the way every morning, all the way from Nigeria. And I say a good thank you to our vendor, we call him, that makes sure that we all receive this update to keep us going. I'm gonna read what came in today from Lagos. Buhari, I will be back soon. Well, how soon we don't know. The president have been in United Kingdom now, and it's now becoming month and month. We wish him speedy recovery, but I will still think he should be given his treatment in Nigeria rather than United Kingdom. It's like having Theresa May in Nigeria receiving treatment. And in one of the comments, and I'll come back to that while I'm reviewing my the bills that was amended today. There were a few people that commented on the on the Senate Facebook page, And I took out two, and I'll be able to tell you, what they say. But no killer anti-malaria drugs in circulation. NAFDAC leaders kicks as 1.5 billion loan for Lagos Ibadan Railway is struck. Nine Mobile. Remember, Etisalat is no longer in Nigeria. It has now been changed to Nine Mobile. Appoint City Standard Bank to find new investor. I did mention it, I think about 3 weeks ago. Maybe the diaspora should just buy this Nine Mobile, and at least we can have a say, and somewhere in Anambra could have a better infrastructure. If we are sending about billions of dollars into Nigeria, and for those that were in Lagos yesterday and Abuja as well, it was Diaspora Day yesterday. We also there was an event that took place in Abuja, and likewise at the Nigerian High Commission. But unfortunately, I could not make it down there. I could have bring that event to you on Facebook live stream. So they are looking for new investor. So that's a business opportunity for a lot of us that are living outside the country. Let us pull our money that we are sending all the time, and maybe we can just buy off, that old Etisalat that is now Nine Mobile. Also, telecos lament revenue loss to mask calls. 6,199 Operation Lafayette officers promoted. Custom CG orders removal of illegal checkpoint. I think there's just too many illegal checkpoints, any part of Nigeria, and it is high time, that is looked into as well. Reps seek 7-year jail term for money launderer. Attack FRC to prosecute Abia Speaker's wife. I'm sure a lot of you saw that, that picture that was showing all over the newsprint and the Facebook when, the Speaker of Abia, and the policeman that was attached to her, injured one of the FRC. And this is what we're saying, corruption is not just about stealing money. Corruption is everywhere. I would have thought, the Abia Speaker should be able to, look into, the rules of the law rather than disobeying the rules of the, the law of the country. So FRC to prosecute, the Abia Speaker's wife. Also, CAC worker shelf strike resumed today. FEC allocate 652 billion to federal government, state, local government. Also, Joshua rematch for November 11. We're looking forward to that, and we wish him, another, victory when that match is refighted again in November the 11. Osibajo, Nigerians' rice importation drops by 80%. Again, the gentleman I'll be speaking to very soon from the northern part of Nigeria is into agriculture, and I said massive agriculture, is doing in the northern part of Nigeria. A young guy as well. We should bring him to you to speak to us very soon as well. We're working on that. Again, as usual, that we'll be able to touch on the update, because I still want to now connect to my other speaker that is in London, that will be able to tell us what is coming up in October, and she'll be able also to tell us what took place in London today, at the Coventry University. I should connect with her, but while I'm waiting to get through to her, I'll play again a little bit music of Pathways, Infe Ichuku, and we'll be able to come back to you in just about a few minutes when I will join you with my other speaker that will be speaking to us. But in the meantime, listen to O Is Way from Ife Ichuku.
I'm breathing every day because of you. You've been there when I needed you. Yes, I'm on your side, Lord. I'm alive today, was not my mate. You died on the cross just to set me free. The way you made me free. Free. Yes, with God you can never go down. To bless you, he will hold you a crown. Okay, like a Christ, no more ups and down. And they come to his feet with my tithes and vow. The soul of it when you frown. Attention, please, Christ love is it down. Yes, money cannot buy his love. They come to the I'm big love. Only him when they dry my tears. Cause way back then nobody hear my case. Today it should they make you no confused. But your faith is needed.
we're going to be speaking to Naaman Ahmed. Naaman Ahmed will be able to tell us, what is actually coming up in terms of, renewable energy in October. This is something that, we got to remember. Electricity is still a big, big problem, in Nigeria. She's having a program coming up, powering African health sector. She'll be able to, tell us a little bit about this program that is coming up, which is coming up very, very soon as well. Powering the African sector. Let's see. That also, it's like I said, it's coming up on the 2nd of September, and she'll be able to tell us a little bit about this program that is coming up right in September. And also, there was something that took place as well in London. We had a lot of people at the Coventry University. She will also be able to give us a little bit about that as well. But in the meantime, I'll play again Ife Ichuku while I'm connecting to Naaman Ahmed.
I've been so strong ever since you, yeah. Always on my thoughts, I don't want you to stop. And I don't want you to leave.
Hello, good evening. I got now on the line with me Naaman Ahmed. Good evening, and if you could just say hello to the audience that are listening, and also tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Ola, and good evening to your audience. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to have a conversation with your audience. My name is Naima Ahmed, and I'm the director for Africa Alternative Energy Initiatives, an organization that seeks to promote an accessible platform to promote universal access to sustainable, affordable, and clean energy for Africa.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us, Naima, on Niger Voices. This particular evening, we're so grateful for having you, on this particular evening. It's exactly 8:27. Can you just give us a little bit about your background for the audience that are listening to you right now, so they can have a bit of understanding of who you are and what, it looks like everyone has got passion for Africa. And I believe, your passion itself is beyond what we should not bring to the audience to get to understand and know why we are bringing you, to speak to the audience. Just give us a bit of your background first.
Okay, so Ola, a bit about my background. I have worked within the financial sector as a business development officer for quite a while. I hold various degrees in renewable energy management and finance, and masters in oil and gas. For some years now, we have been deliberating deeply on renewable energy access for Africa's continent, various countries, because there are so many resources that people need to, or countries need to tap into. And one thing that all these years has been happening is when you meet global companies, they start the whole dialogue and look at Africa as one entity, one country, which isn't like that. So when they come into Africa, whichever country that they go into, they come with this stringent models which do not work for every country. And it was at this spot that we decided to sit down and then look at the whole problem again. And upon our deliberation, we said, wait a minute, something is really off. There are so many resources within the African continent, and yet we have thousands of people who do not have access to electricity. Why? Why should it be so? So we decided to speak to renewable energy companies, speak to government bodies, and individual investors. And what we realized was that renewable energy companies are willing to enter the African market, but there were so many blockades. There were issues of policy, there were issues of tariffs, there were issues of cost, issue of local content. So we then asked again, how best could we make sure there is an accessible route for us to have something that we do not have? So we engaged in other stakeholders, continued with our deliberations, and one thing came up front. We have companies, we have clean resources. It's a matter of thinking beyond the box, because we've been able to target, we've spoken to doctors who are performing operations using touch lights and candle lights. It doesn't sit well. So through all these negotiations, we then decided to create an accessible platform, and that's how AEI was born. So for AEI, we were looking at promoting accessible energy, affordable and clean, not just any energy, because in our country, there are countries which have discovered oil and gas, but they haven't taken to not. And the recent issues of climate change were playing significant role as to Africa's economic development. So we needed to look at alternative ways to make sure that we are benefiting from what we already have, and hence alternative energy. So we strongly believe that for us to be able to move forward, we need to look at the issue of energy mix. And with energy mix, we have countries that already have oil and gas. Look at Kenya, look at Nigeria, look at Ghana, so many countries. And then we have the abundance of sun. So how do we make sure that we are harnessing all these resources to make sure it's to our benefit at the end of the day? And whilst we are looking at it, we are also looking at the issue of promoting skilled local content, whereas we wouldn't have global organizations coming into our countries and taking away the very resources and finances and leaving us high and dry. So we need to train our people to suit these markets to be able to do the work that needs to be done, so that we wouldn't have expatriates doing the work, and then once they've been able to accrue all the salaries, they take it back to their country. So it's one significant thing that we are very, very passionate about. So that is me, and that is Africa's Alternative Energy Initiative.
Well, thank you very much, Naima, for giving us a background of what Africa Alternative Energy Initiative is all about. I'm very sure that electricity is one big, massive problem within all African countries. I was pleased to attend one of your events, again by Madam Juliet Macapila, and I did transmit from that event. I'll try and make sure I can replay that video back to my audience, that probably would not have missed, those of us that have missed that video clip. I know you've got another program coming up. We're going to talk on that particular program. And I'm very sure, so many, like I said, that we've got a lot of Africans doing great things, trying to bring impact into Africa, from whatever knowledge they have. And, your event that you did at about 2 months ago precisely, or 3 months now, was well engaged. You had good speakers, and also the newly elected Canuck chairman was there, Dr. Boma Douglas. That indicates that we have a lot of experts. But what is why are we still in darkness? Why is Africa still in darkness? If Africa map is shown tonight, you will realize that almost everywhere is dark. Why is that?
the issue is we have a lot of expertise within the energy arena. We have so many of our indigents within the diaspora who hold so much certification, so much masters, have the knowledge industry or the industry knowledge of what exactly is going on. The issue within the industry is not just about having the knowledge, because we need to think about innovation. And once we've been able to sort through innovation, the issue of investment comes in. The energy industry is not a child's play, as I always put it. It looks at huge projects, it looks at huge investments. And what we are looking to do is being able to demystify the whole approach of looking at huge projects to smaller projects for people to be able to access it. And it will take time. It's not just a day thing or achieve it in the near future. We need to engage in all these dialogue and make sure that there is an approach. And while there are these approaches, there is also the expertise to meet the industry for our own betterment. And whatever we have, we need to be able to convince our people back home that there are best practices elsewhere that we need to use for our own benefit. But the truth is, we can't do it in disassociation with our country. We need to engage the local people to understand. And I think that's one of the problems that always come up. It doesn't matter the masters you hold. It doesn't matter the kind of certification you hold or your expertise. You need to be in touch with the very people. And that's where we look at, as Africans, we need to solve our problems. You can't stay outside for years and think that whatever expertise you've gathered from abroad, you can easily go back home and then solve issues. You need to be there to understand people. You need to be there for people to trust you. That at the end of the day, you'll be able to give the requisite solutions for our continent or our countries at the end of the day. So for me, we may have all these expertise, but again, we need to be in touch with the very problems that we hold. We can't be elsewhere and then having talk shops without having significant directions or solutions to the very people that we seek solutions for.
Okay. For those that are joining us, we are speaking to Naima Ahmed. She's someone that I think everyone wants to grab at any point of time, because when we talk about electricity in Africa, it goes to our dear heart that sometimes you speak to people back home and they're still sleeping in darkness. Not everyone can afford the petrol or even a generator. Let's now talk about this upcoming event of yours again, and if I'm right, on the 5th of September 2017, and that is a Tuesday, and that will be at the Imperial College London between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Tell us a bit about this event coming up, and it's called Powering Africa Health Sector, Innovation, Access and Investment. Give us a bit of background of this event, and what should we be expecting as well.
Okay. Ola, I'm happy you said you were at one of our events in Coventry University, where we looked at renewable energy versus the oil and gas industry. One approach that we are adopting as an organization, and this is against the backdrop of the Sustainable Development Goals. We are very much keen to Sustainable Development Goal 7, which looks at universal access to or sustainable development access to affordable, clean, and clean energy for all by 2030. We think that the approach needs to be diversified, where it wouldn't be a mambo jumbo talk. I've been to a lot of all these events where we are talking about energy. And from our perspective, we have all these conversations in vacuum. We need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do that. But we think we need to take an industry to make an impact. You take one industry, make sure you've been able to achieve something, and then we take another industry. And collectively, we would have been able to make a general and a grand impact for Africa's economic development at the end of the day. So when we sat down with our team in our brainstorming session, what we thought was, why don't we look at the health sector? So we started engaging some rural health facilities, clinics, doctors. We realized there were a lot of rural clinics that did not have access to electricity. At the same time, those who did have access to electricity, it wasn't constant, so they didn't have constant supply of electricity at the end of the day. You have doctors who are performing surgeries, operations by torchlight, candle light, and it's just not right.
But
In
can
21st
I
century,
interject there? Are we saying, and I want us to really get this out straight, that in 2017, there's still operations done in some part of African country with this kind of equipment that you've just been mentioning? Or are we just kind of overseeing it so that we can
we
lure
are
the
not.
investor to come in?
These are the realities. All right, these are the realities. There are rural and community health centers that do not have access to electricity. That do not have access to electricity. And what is happening in some parts of Africa, Kenya, Uganda, I know there have been recent usherings of entrepreneurs who are looking at off-grid solutions for homes. So individuals who do not have access to electricity, they are able to buy these solar lamps and smaller packages of solar panels to be able to have access to electricity.
Okay.
It's kind of the same kind of module where we are speaking to renewable energy companies to rethink their approach to packaging to suit the health sectors. Because, Ola, let me do this simple math. Going to Nigeria, whether private or public hospitals who do not have constant access to electricity, they are investing in generators and diesels. So already there is a fund for it. So if companies can come in to say the amount of money you are using to fuel a generator, I'm going to be able to, exactly, which is going to be cheaper, which is going to be cleaner to the environment. And at the end of the day, it's going to last you for God knows how long. There is guarantee out of it. So it's a matter of having this dialogue. We need to speak to health directors. We need to speak to government officials. We need to speak to renewable energy companies to come to a consensus to say there is business in here. And whilst we are looking at a business angle of things, whilst we are able to achieve this, we are also helping individuals and saving lives at the end of the day. And that is what our event on 5th is all about. We are partnering with Energy Futures Lab, which is the Institute of Imperial College, and is also in partnership with the Institute of Global Health Innovation. So we have all these organizations coming on board to say, we know how the renewable energy industry is. We know what kind of products that we need to look at. And then we are also inviting investors to come in to say, as much as we've seen these products, we think we can invest in it. And we are also bringing government officials to say there is room for these companies to come in. There is room for us to be able to help the health sector. And these are the approaches that we require you to do for you to be able to come into our country. And once we've been able to reach a consensus, we know that at least if we are able to pick 1 or 2 hospitals or renewable clinics in any African country, for us, it would have been a success for us in any way possible.
And for those that want to attend this event, what is the procedure? How do they, get to the, to online to get the ticket, or is it what is the arrangement in terms of, because electricity is something that is in our hearts, especially everyone from Africa. So where do they go to get their ticket, or what is this the procedure for that?
The event is a paid-for event, unless you are a student.
Okay.
And what's happening is we are looking to support one hospital at the end of the day as a success story. And that's why the event is a paid-for event.
Okay.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Okay.
You can visit Africa Alternative Energy Initiative Facebook page. There is a link that you can register there. You can go to Eventbrite. Our event is up. You can register through there. They can contact you directly
Okay.
if they want to register for the event, or they can email us at info at
And what is the Facebook? I just
AAEinitiative.org.
want to try and get the Facebook page. It's called AAEI.
Yes, it's Africa Alternative Energy Initiative.
Okay.
That's our Facebook page, Africa Alternative Energy Initiative. I think you'll
Okay,
find this on
I've seen
Facebook.
it. I've seen it. I'll try and push.
Yes,
I'll try and get the link out. Okay.
yes, please. Yeah.
Thank you very much for
Thank you,
bringing
Ola,
us
for
up
having
to
me.
this. I still got one more question to ask you. I know you're very busy. What took place today? And I'm sure, I was told at the last minute I should have been there myself, but there was something that took place again today in terms of it looks like everyone is trying to do something, but like I said, if we don't bring it to the to the audience out there, they probably won't know how hard work you're doing, and for those that are flying into the country as well. And I'm very sure that we had a very important guest as well at the event today. So what took place today again as well?
Today, there was the Global Energy Summit.
Okay.
Where we discussed various issues relating to the future of energy in relation to oil and gas, renewable energy, how renewable energy is going to play a significant role in the coming years, whether we like it or not, in so many ways. And on the panel, I think there was a representative of the Minister of Petroleum from Nigeria.
Okay.
The president for Sierra Leone was, a rep was there. And then the various high commissioners also made their way there. In a nutshell, it was quite a very important event. It was the first here in the UK as a global energy summit, and we were able to make significant contribution to the way the future of renewable energy going forward.
Okay, and I'm sure you've been watching the news lately, and it has been a hot topic. Diesel and petrol car ban, clean air strategy, not enough. 2040. What do you say to that news in United Kingdom? 2040 is exactly maybe we're now 2017. It's
I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
I think just yesterday it was on the news that Scotland has been able to make massive improvements in its renewable power generation. And prior to that, we also heard how renewable energy was contributing to the UK's electricity distribution. Against that backdrop, you've seen what is happening in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Uganda, in all those other places as to non-constant supply of electricity when we have abundance of natural resources.
Wow.
On the same level, you are having us investing in not looking at how best we can invest in the environment. You've seen massive floods all over, not just in Nigeria, but then other places as well. This tells us something. We need to go back to the drawing table. It's not just a matter of oil and gas. We need to think about the environment. Whether we are still going to go with fossil fuel, we need to look at cleaner ways of having it. Because we have only one Earth. There is no other Earth. If we mess up this Earth, those who have money to move to other planets, we wouldn't be able to afford it at the end of the day. So we need to invest in cleaner energy. We need to invest in something that will protect our planet and our countries as a whole. And at the end of the day, we need to leave something for our unborn children to be proud of, not what we are seeing today. So looking into the future, we need to be circumspect. We need to be proactive as well. And at the same time, we need to make sure we are protecting what we came to meet at the end of the day. And we strongly believe that investing in renewables, it may take time. It's like looking at the telecom industry. You saw how Nokia 33 came. Smartphone is just in 2006. Nokia 3310, now iPhone 6, iPhone whatever. We are all having smartphones. That's how the renewable industry is. It's innovation upon innovation and innovation. And by the time you realize, we would have got the best out of it all for our own betterment. So we shouldn't be worried. We are going to get there. But we need to start now. We need to do something now.
Well, thank you very much. We've been speaking to Naima Hamed, telling us about the upcoming event in September. More details can be found at the Facebook page, which I'll be pushing that into the comment box in about a few minutes. Or you can also, see all these details, on Niger Diaspora Facebook page, and likewise the alternative, the Africa Alternative Energy Initiative. Thank you very much for spending a bit of your time after a very long day. Any last word to the audience that are listening out there that are still thinking there will never be light in Africa?
There will always be light in Africa. It's a matter of we being positive and making sure that we are doing the right thing, really. We need to do the right thing. We need to make sure that whatever resources we have, we are harnessing it for the right way, and we are engaging the right angles of investment and then the right people to invest in our continent.
Okay.
The truth is, Allah, and before I go, I need to say massive thank you to you. I think you've been doing so awesomely well for our community, and we can't thank you enough for this platform and what you've been doing for us. And we are grateful, really. We are really grateful for the work you've been doing.
Thank you very, very much. And you want to say bye-bye in your language, not in English? Or you've lost the language as well. You've been eating too much KFC.
How can I forget my
Oh yeah, let's listen. Say bye-bye. Firstly, I want you to say no. Hold on. I'll tell you what to say. You don't tell what to say. I'm the one in control. Firstly, you say thank you to Niger Voices in the language, and then you say bye-bye as well.
Niger Voices.
Okay. Thank you very much. That shows that she's still in touch. She hasn't ate too much KFC that will make her forget that she's got a language. And I really appreciate your time as well. I know you're a very busy woman as well within the community, and we hope to speak soon as well. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Bye now.
Bye.
Well, what can I say? Niger Voices will come to you with different topics that have something in our heart, whether you are residing in the United Kingdom or whether you are residing in any part of African country. That is all about it. We're just coming up to the end of the show, but I still have few more things to talk about in terms of the 33 bills that were being considered today at the Nigerian Senate, and the 3 ones I've picked out of the Constitution Review that I want to talk about is the bill number 3, devolution of powers. We had 46 people said yes, we had 48 people said no, and we have one that abstained. Bill 27, reduction of age for election. Yes was 86. I think that was good. No was 10. I don't know why they had 10. And then the abstain was 1. Bill number 15, something that is so important, and I'm sure a lot of you are still digesting it as well. Bill number 15, the Nigerian police force to become Nigeria Police. Waiting you carry. That had 87 votes, 2 said no, 1 abstained. Quickly, after the whole thing that took place on the Twitter feed of Senator Shehu Sani, well, whether you agree to that or not, you'll be able to tell yourself. We voted yes, so that young people, so that the young can now run for public office for the nation to benefit from their fresh ideas. And I'm sure we got so many fresh ideas, whether it's from Naima Ahmed, whether it's from a lot of young Nigerians that are out there. He said, we voted yes, so that the young can now run for public office for the nation to benefit from their fresh ideas. So is it the right time for them to realize that we got fresh ideas after so many years? Again, from the topic that we spoke to with Ife Ichuku all the way from Anambra, the lost generation. Maybe they could have changed this 1999 constitution 2 decades ago, and we could have had all those fresh ideas from all over Nigeria to turn around Nigeria and we will have had that 24 hours electricity like someone like Neymar is trying to do for all African countries as well. Also, the preliminary has been adjourned again to tomorrow. We'll be following that as well, and we do a live feed as well for those that are watching us on Facebook during the day on Niger Diaspora Online TV. Also, there was another Senator Olujimi seeks the indulgence of our colleagues to include the gender affirmative into the upcoming gender bill consideration. I think that is very, very important as well. Like I said, 33 bills were considered, 97 senators in attendance, 95 senators were present for the clause by clause voting. It was an e-voting as well. And I hope, if they can be doing e-voting in the Senate, it is high time that we make sure that all the election, there has been a bit of protest. A video has been going around. I don't have the authenticity of that video. That the election that took place in Lagos, a particular district, we had a group of women that were protesting that a party that should have won, that they believe, they voted for, within that community, was probably not accepted. Again, few Facebook comment on the particular bill that took place today. Please make law to banish president and political office holders from seeking medical treatment overseas. This is embarrassing to our image as giant of Africa. Thanks, Dr. Bukola, for trying to be open. We need local government. This is another, Facebook comment that I've just picked out. There's so many comments. I just picked up the one out of random. This was another comment. Thanks, Dr. Bukola, for trying to be open. We need local government autonomy for greater empowerment of the locals. Please don't let anyone, including Dino, disrupt your affairs anymore. Again, as usual, it's been a very long day. Thank you very much for everyone that have logged in from all over the world, wherever you're residing this particular evening, for making it happen again. Niger Voice is coming to you all the way from Starr Radio, your finest Afro-Caribbean radio. We give thanks for you for joining us. It's been a beautiful show as usual. Next week, we've got another lineup ready for you again next week. I've just posted on the comment box for those of you that might want to know a little bit more about the alternative energy initiative program. That is the link to that particular event and the details out there. Also, there's so much happening coming up this weekend within the community as well. Make sure you continue to follow us on all our social media platforms, where we bring details, news, agriculture, politics, sport, and also, day-to-day event that is happening also in United Kingdom. We do quite a lot of live stream as well. If you've missed any of our old live stream videos, you can always go back at your own comfortable place and watch it back on YouTube. Remember the Nigeria Diaspora Direct Investment Summit that took place. Go listen to all the speakers that spoke at that particular event. We've got them right now on the YouTube channel. You'll be able to enjoy it. Quite a lot of speakers, about 21 of them, spoke for a very long day, and it was a very successful event as well. This time last week, I was in the studio with my very good friend Femi Oluwafemi Aroto Kunwale, discussing about the security in Nigeria and how the diaspora, again, it's all about the diaspora. I keep saying the diaspora have a very strong case, and we had a diaspora day yesterday, and kudos to all the organizers of that particular event that was held at the Nigerian High Commission yesterday. I could not attend because I had some other engagement, that was, the reason why I could have brought that event to you live on Facebook. But there was also a diaspora day that was held, in Abuja, and I'm sure our publicity photographer Jermaine Showolu will be giving us as much information on that for those of you that might want to know what took place in Abuja. I think I've already seen quite a lot of few posts that came on his Facebook page, Jermaine Showolu. You might be able to listen to Honorable Rita Oji, who is the diaspora committee chairman. Also, again, next week we'll be back again. But for everyone that have logged in, again, big thank you to you, Ifeanyichukwu Pitwise, for joining us all the way from Anambra State, where you've been discussing, the lost generation. We do hope we won't be the lost generation, in as much as there's still a lot of obstacle out there, but we won't give up, and we will make sure that we engage, especially, with all the youths in Nigeria, so that we can make Nigeria a better place for even the Onyibo to come and live there. I know a lot of Onyibo have been living in Nigeria, but we want more of them to travel. Remember, holidays around the corner. A lot of people are now traveling to all over the world, but Nigeria should now hop the game to make sure that tourism. I was going to ask Ifeanyichukwu, if he's still listening to me, I want you to just post on my comment box there, what kind of crops, grows very well in Anambra State. I did say I was going to ask you, but something slipped my mind out there, and that's why I could not remember to ask you. Nigeria has got so much, that we can feed the whole of the world, but if we are not getting it right, there's no way we can help to feed ourselves. The opportunities are there. It takes a lot of hard work, and everyone has to remember that nothing comes easy in life. Ifeanyichukwu said so himself. He studied mechanical engineer, and look at the way he has branched himself out, from nowhere. So if you're still thinking that, you can't be someone, I can tell you, after listening to Ifeanyichukwu out there, telling us that it is possible, and we will continue to engage all the religious institutions as well, because this is where everybody runs to, believing that prayer is the only thing that will solve all our problem. And I keep saying that, prayer is just a fraction of what will solve our problem. Our inner self solve more problem than the prayer itself. You got to do, the diligent thing. You got to be humble. You got to do a lot of hard work to be able to make it happen. If you're looking at your clock now, it's exactly 9 o'clock. We have a lot of things that grows up here, mostly cassava. Thank you very much for posting that. Cassava makes a lot out of cassava. So if you're still a diaspora thinking, what can I do in Anambra State? They've just told us cassava. And do you know why cassava is very important? I like drinking my own gari all the time. It's unfortunate that I find it very difficult to see granite now. That's another business opportunity. You might think, in United Kingdom, there's a lot of granite seller. But I can tell you, sometimes they're far away from me. But it would be nice to just have it, on the shelf there, very close to me. Not from the big stores, but from the local shop that are Nigeria. There's a big opportunity in Nigeria. There's a lot of obstacle, but don't allow the obstacle to overshadow what you can do for your inner self. Remember, you must leave a legacy. I was explaining to a few of my audience few weeks ago about the New Zealand team. If you are not aware of why the New Zealand rugby team have always won the rugby, it is very important to Google it, and you'll be able to find out that it was based on the belief that they have that the jersey they're putting on doesn't belong to them, belongs to someone that have made it happen, someone that have made it great. They just have an opportunity to put it on. I'm putting this on now. What am I going to leave for the next person that will put it on? And this is how we can grow as a country. As long as we all think of that, Nigeria will be great, Africa will be great, and I believe it so much that Africa will be the best place in the world in less than 2 years. You might dispute with me. If you dispute with me, that means I've given you a hard task to work along that line. I'll play a little bit of the last few seconds of Oh His Way, and I want us to enjoy that before I play my normal Fela Anikulaku TV. 2 minutes past 9. Thank you very much to everyone that have joined us from all over the world. It's a great show as usual, and I'll be back again next week where I'll be bringing it to you, another guest speaker. Enjoy the evening and enjoy the last bit of Oh His Way by Ifeanyichukwu. Oh, it looks like it's gone. I'm going to pull it back a little bit so that you can enjoy that before I play Baba 70.
Thanks for listening.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.